Did you know that over 14 million people in the U.S. now openly identify as part of the LGBTQ+ community? From award-winning actresses who kept their truth hidden for decades, to bold stars who shocked the world by coming out on live television. Here are 20 lesbian Hollywood stars you didn't know about. 1. Kristen Stewart. Kristen Stewart became a household name with her role as Bella Swan in the massive Twilight movies. But what many didn't see was the real person behind the character. Born in Los Angeles in 1990, she was acting before most people knew her name. Her earlier roles, like in Panic Room with Jodie Foster, showed that she had talent. Still, it was the vampire saga that made her famous almost overnight. But with fame came pressure. People watched her every move, her clothes, her words, her partners, all picked apart. For years, Kristen stayed quiet about her personal life. It was only in 2017 that she admitted she didn't see herself as bisexual, but as queer. That word left many unsure. What did she mean? Why now? Some fans cheered, others rolled their eyes. Was this honesty or just a move to stay in the spotlight as her film career shifted away from big blockbusters? After all, the timing was convenient. She had moved on from teen films to more serious roles in movies like Still Alice and Snow White and the Huntsman. Maybe she wanted people to see her differently, and talking about her sexuality helped. Or maybe she really was just ready to be herself. The truth is, no one can know for sure. Still, questions remain. Why did she wait until her career was already safe? Would she have spoken up if she wasn't so well known? And does she use her identity to connect with fans or to protect her fame? Kristen Stewart is seen by many as a bold voice in Hollywood, but not everyone is convinced. 2. Jodie Foster. Jodie Foster is one of those stars who seems smart, talented, and very serious about her work. Born in Los Angeles in 1962, she was acting as a child and appeared in big movies like Taxi Driver by the time she was just a teenager. Her talent was clear, and she went on to win 2 Academy Awards for her performances in The Accused and The Silence of the Lambs. But behind all the awards and praise, something was missing. Her voice. Not the one on screen, but the one that could have helped people like her. For years, people asked questions about her personal life. She kept silent. Never a word. No answers. While some people admired her privacy, others saw it differently. Was she hiding, or just waiting for the right time? It wasn't until the 2013 Golden Globe Awards that she finally spoke up. In a speech that many found confusing, she thanked her former partner, Sydney Bernard. The crowd cheered, but not everyone was happy. Why now? Why not earlier? Foster had built a strong career without ever talking about being gay. That gave her safety, but it didn't help others who were struggling to come out. By waiting so long, she may have missed the chance to be a role model for people who needed one sooner. Some think she was just protecting her career. Others believe she simply wasn't ready. 3. Sarah Paulson. Sarah Paulson is known for playing bold characters, and her real life is just as bold. Born in 1974 in Tampa, Florida, she became famous for her roles in American Horror Story and The People v. O.J. Simpson. She won an Emmy, but it wasn't just her acting that got attention. It was her relationship with another actress named Holland Taylor, who is more than 30 years older than her. The age difference made headlines, and not everyone reacted kindly. Paulson never tried to hide who she was. She spoke openly about dating women. Many people said she was brave. Others said she was just chasing attention. The age gap with Taylor caused people to talk more about her personal life than her acting. Was this love, or was it something she knew would get people talking? That's the question some still ask. Paulson says she just followed her heart. But with the spotlight always on her, it's hard not to wonder if she also liked being talked about. Every red carpet photo, Every interview, it all kept her in the news. Some praised her for challenging age rules and gender expectations. Others said it was all just part of her brand. 4. Ellen Page, now Elliot Page. Elliot Page started out as Ellen Page and quickly became a young star in Hollywood. Born in 1987 in Canada, he was praised for his acting in Juno and Inception. He seemed fearless on screen, but off-screen, things weren't so simple. In 2010, Page came out as gay during a speech. He talked about hiding and feeling scared. People called the speech powerful. Then, in 2020, he came out again, this time as transgender, saying he was now Elliot. The news shocked people. Some were supportive, others were confused. How could someone change so much in such a short time? Was it real, or was it just part of a bigger plan? Some people felt moved by Elliot's words. Others thought it was all too sudden. And with Hollywood backing him so quickly, it made people wonder, would the support be there if he were less famous? Elliot says he finally feels free. He shares photos, writes about his life, and speaks out about trans rights. But critics question the timing. Did he wait until he was too big to fail? Would a lesser-known actor have received the same support? Fame gives protection, and some think he used it. That doesn't make his story fake, but it does make people curious. 5. Lily Tomlin. Lily Tomlin is a comedy legend, but for years she kept part of her life locked away. Born in Detroit in 1939, she rose to fame with Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, and later starred in 9 to 5. Her sharp wit made her stand out, and she had a long list of fans. But there was always one thing she wouldn't talk about, her relationship with writer Jane Wagner. They met in 1971 and stayed together for over 40 years before finally marrying in 2013. That long silence makes people wonder, why wait so long? Was it fear, or was it just comfort in hiding? In all that time, Tomlin could have used her voice to support others in the LGBTQ+ world. But she didn't. She stayed quiet, and for many years, no one knew for sure if she was even in a relationship. She had a platform, she had power, and she chose not to speak. When she finally married Jane, fans celebrated. But some felt it was too little, too late. They asked why someone with her fame didn't stand up sooner. Her silence felt like a missed chance. Now, people look back and wonder what could have happened if she had been open decades earlier. Lily Tomlin is still respected, still funny, and still working. But her quiet years left a mark. She could have helped others by speaking up. Instead, she waited. Maybe she was scared. Maybe she didn't want to be labeled. 6. Wanda Sykes. Wanda Sykes has made millions laugh, but her truth was hidden for years. Born in Portsmouth, Virginia, in 1964, she started out as a writer and comedian, becoming well known for her sharp wit on The Chris Rock Show. Her writing even won her a big award, a Primetime Emmy, back in 1999. But even though she made people laugh, there was a part of her that she kept quiet. Wanda didn't speak publicly about being a lesbian until 2008. And even then, it wasn't in a planned interview or magazine feature. It happened at a same-sex marriage rally in Las Vegas, a place full of noise, signs, and people fighting to be seen. That moment changed everything. She stood on a stage and shared her truth, something she had hidden for decades. After that, Wanda married Alex Niedbalski, a French businesswoman. They now have 2 kids and a home filled with love. But here's the thing. Why did it take so long for Wanda to feel safe saying who she is? She had been in Hollywood for years, but only after reaching a high level of fame did she seem to feel like she could be honest. That silence isn't rare. Many stars stay quiet because they fear losing work, or being treated differently. Even someone as funny and bold as Wanda didn't feel like the world would accept her unless she was already successful. Wanda's coming out did more than just shock fans. It showed how broken the system still is. It also showed how strong she had to be. She didn't just tell the truth. She risked everything. Jane Lynch. Jane Lynch is known for being tough and funny. She played the strict and loud Sue Sylvester on Glee, and people loved how wild and fearless her character was. She made everyone laugh, and she even won an Emmy for it. But behind all the jokes and strong roles, Jane was holding back a big truth. Even with her bold personality on screen, her personal life stayed quiet for a long time. She didn't come out as a lesbian until much later in her career, after she had already proven herself in Hollywood. Why did she wait so long? That question says a lot about the pressure that stars still face. When Jane married clinical psychologist Laura Embry in 2010, people started paying attention to her private life. For once, it wasn't just about her funny scenes or red carpet moments. But the marriage didn't last. They divorced in 2014. And just like that, the attention faded. Some thought her story was inspiring. Others moved on. But the way the media treated it, like a short headline instead of something meaningful, showed just how shallow Hollywood can be. Jane has always used her voice to support LGBTQ+ rights, but even with her success, she didn't get that kind of freedom early on. It's almost like the industry waits to see if someone is useful before letting them live out loud. Portia de Rossi. Portia de Rossi seemed to have the perfect Hollywood image. She had the looks, the roles, and the spotlight. From Ally McBeal to Arrested Development, she always stood out. But what many didn't know was how much pain was hiding behind her smile. Portia spent years struggling to hide her true self. She was afraid of what being honest might cost her. She was scared that the truth would ruin everything she had worked so hard to build. That fear wasn't just in her head, it was very real in the world she lived in. She also dealt with major body image problems. Trying to meet Hollywood's impossible standards, she developed eating disorders that nearly ruined her health. She wrote all about it in her book, Unbearable Lightness. In that book, she showed how fame can make a person feel even more trapped. Even though she was always on screen, she never felt fully seen. It wasn't until she fell in love with talk show host Ellen DeGeneres that things began to change. Their relationship started in the spotlight, and when they married in 2008, it made headlines everywhere. Together, they became one of Hollywood's most famous lesbian couples. But that level of fame brought a different kind of pressure. People watched every move they made, every smile, every step, every mistake. It was all magnified. Portia's life became more than acting. It became an example. 9. Cynthia Nixon. Cynthia Nixon will always be remembered for playing Miranda on Sex and the City. But her real life has made even bigger waves than her TV role. Born in New York City in 1966, she had been acting since she was a teen. For a long time, people only saw her as an actress. But in 2004, everything changed. Cynthia revealed that she was in a relationship with a woman named Christine Marinoni. Later, in 2012, they got married. That one act made headlines around the world. But instead of support, some people questioned her truth. Some even said she didn't count as a real lesbian because she had dated men before. It was a cruel and unfair judgment. Cynthia had to explain herself in ways that straight people never have to. Why does love need to come with proof? Even now, she faces people who question her identity. And when she ran for governor of New York in 2018, the spotlight grew hotter. Her political ideas were bold, and her personal life was used against her in the press. Critics weren't just talking about her plans for schools, they were talking about who she married. Cynthia didn't back down. She used the attacks as fuel. But her fight shows just how hard it still is for women who step outside the lines. Even after decades in the public eye, she's had to fight for basic respect. And she's not alone. There are countless others like her, pushed to defend themselves simply for living their truth. 10. Kate McKinnon. Kate McKinnon is one of the funniest people on TV. She made people laugh every week on Saturday Night Live. She could become anyone, Hillary Clinton, Justin Bieber, or any wild character you can imagine. But even though she's been on screen for years, Kate rarely talks about her real life. She is openly lesbian, but very private. That silence is not an accident. It's a sign of the fear that still hangs in the air. Kate was born in 1984 in Sea Cliff, New York. She studied hard, trained in acting, and broke into comedy with pure talent. But being a lesbian in Hollywood, even today, can still cost you roles, attention, and safety. Maybe that's why Kate keeps her life so quiet. She's seen what happens when stars become too open. The questions never stop, the cameras never turn away, and the work can suddenly disappear. It's not just paranoia, it's the truth of the business. Her comedy has broken rules, shattered silence, and made LGBTQ+ people feel seen. Still, she often disappears after the lights go out. She doesn't share details, stories, or relationships. And maybe that's her way of protecting what matters. But what does it say about the industry if someone like her, famous, loved, and talented, still feels the need to hide? Hollywood likes to pat itself on the back for being inclusive, but actions speak louder. When stars like Kate have to stay quiet just to keep working, the message is clear. You can be out, but don't be loud. You can be real, but not too real. 11. Raven-Symoné. Raven-Symoné became famous as a child, known for her bright smile and funny lines on The Cosby Show, and later, That's So Raven. Many people grew up watching her, laughing with her, and cheering her on. But few truly saw the quiet changes happening behind the scenes. In 2013, when she spoke out in support of same-sex marriage, it surprised many. She didn't yell it from the rooftops, but the message was there. In 2020, she confirmed that she had married Miranda Pierman-Madej. While some fans were happy, others were shocked. Why didn't she tell people sooner? Why the silence? Raven has said she likes to keep her private life away from the cameras, but that choice makes people even more curious. Some say she's guarding her peace. Others wonder if she's hiding too much. Can a star who lives in the spotlight really stay quiet about something so big? Her fans are left asking questions. She talks about supporting LGBTQ+ rights, yet pulls back when it comes to her own story. It's like watching someone speak through a locked door. Her actions say one thing, her silence another. Raven could have used her voice loudly during a time when young fans needed someone like her. But instead she chose to whisper. And in Hollywood, whispers don't always go unheard. They just cause more talk. Her influence is strong, and that makes her choices matter even more. People want realness, but when someone only shows small pieces, it leaves room for guessing. Is Raven protecting her heart, or is she afraid of the cost that comes with truth? She opened the door a crack and then closed it again. What is she not saying, and why? The world is still waiting to find out. 12. Tessa Thompson. Tessa Thompson has been in some of the biggest movies of the past 10 years. Her roles in Creed, Thor, Ragnarok, and Westworld made her a star. She walks with grace and speaks with purpose. But behind that calm look, there is a story she rarely tells in full. She said once that she's attracted to both men and women, but doesn't want to be labeled. That sounds freeing at first, but what does it really mean? Why share half the truth and then stop? Fans were surprised. Some praised her honesty, Others were confused. People want to understand who she is, not just who she plays. In a time when being real is more important than ever, staying quiet or unclear can feel like hiding. Tessa says she's just living her truth. But what truth is that? A truth with soft edges and blurred lines? Hollywood loves a star who keeps people guessing, and Tessa does just that. Her interviews are careful. Her words are picked like ripe fruit. Only the best, only what fits. But is that honesty or something else? Is she protecting herself or protecting her brand? People want answers, but Tessa gives only hints. She says she doesn't believe in labels, but some think that's just another way to avoid hard questions. Tessa is strong, smart, and talented. She could change the world by saying more, but she chooses to stay in the middle. Not too loud, not too quiet. Just enough to make people wonder. What would happen if she finally told the full truth? Why keep part of yourself hidden when showing it could help others? Fans are still watching and waiting. 13. Lena Waithe. Lena Waithe doesn't hide who she is. She came into the spotlight not just with talent, but with strong words. When she won the Emmy for writing on Master of None, she made history. People cheered. They listened. Lena was bold. She spoke about being a black lesbian woman and never made herself small to please others. But behind the powerful voice, things weren't so simple. She married Alana Mayo, and it looked like a perfect match. But that marriage ended fast. Too fast. Fans asked why. What happened? Some said it felt rushed, like a headline instead of a love story. Lena talks a lot about truth, about fairness, about standing proud. But the truth behind her own life seems hidden. How can someone speak so loudly about love and still leave people with questions? She helps others feel seen, yes. She writes roles for people who don't usually get a voice. That matters. But some wonder if Lena's loud support for others hides a quiet struggle in herself. She talks about showing up fully, yet her choices don't always match her words. Is she doing too much for others and not enough for herself? Lena is a leader, but leaders also carry weight. And when the mask slips even a little, people notice. Her stories are brave, but are they also a shield? She gives people courage, but is she holding back her own? There's more to her than what we see on stage or screen. She knows it. We know it. 14. Tig Notaro. Tig Notaro is not the loudest person in the room, but she makes sure you hear her. Her comedy is dry and simple, but packed with truth. When she stood on stage and told the world she had breast cancer, she didn't cry. She didn't ask for pity. She just told the truth. That moment made people stop and listen. It made her different. Tig married actress Stephanie Alain in 2015. They are raising twin boys. On the outside, it looks like a peaceful, happy home. But Tig is hard to read. She talks about deep things, yet always with a joke. She shows pain, but covers it in silence. Some people call her brave. Others say she's distant. How can someone say so much and still feel far away? Tig opens up just enough to keep people interested, but never too much. She lets people in, then closes the door before they see too much. Her comedy is like a map with missing pieces. You laugh, but you wonder what she's not saying. Fans love her, but also feel like strangers. She faced death and made it into a joke. She turned pain into power. But does she ever stop and let herself feel it all? Or is comedy her way of staying safe? Tig Notaro is strong. No one doubts that. But even strong people hide. 15. Samira Wiley. Samira Wiley first got attention in Orange is the New Black. She played a bold and honest character who stood up for herself. Off-screen, she became just as bold, marrying writer Lauren Morelli in 2017. Their love started on set and grew quickly. Some called it a dream romance, but was it too perfect? People looked at Samira and saw pride, love, and openness. But the way her story was shared, in headlines, on red carpets, in magazine covers, felt almost like a plan, a story built to shine. Fans wonder if they've seen the real Samira, or just a polished version. She often talks about truth and being real, but her image feels clean, smooth, untouched by mess. In Hollywood, everything is about the look, and Samira's look is strong, proud, flawless. But what is hiding behind that smile? Does she ever feel tired of being the symbol of something bigger than herself? Her talent is clear. But sometimes the focus on her marriage and her identity overshadows her acting. Is that what she wanted? Samira Wiley deserves respect. She's done things many are scared to do, but fans keep wondering if there is more beneath the perfect photo. What happens when the cameras go off? Is she still smiling then? People want to know her story, the real one, not the story built for awards or pride parades, but the one she may never tell. 16. Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie O'Donnell was once known as the smiling face of daytime TV. She hosted The Rosie O'Donnell Show, where she laughed, joked, and gave away gifts. People saw her as funny, warm, and friendly. But behind that big smile, Rosie was carrying something she didn't share at first. In 2002, she came out as gay, and the world quickly changed how it saw her. Some cheered, some turned away, and others weren't sure what to think. But Rosie didn't back down. She spoke out for gay rights, especially for adoption and families. She adopted children and talked openly about raising them as a gay parent. Rosie didn't keep quiet. She used her fame to bring up tough topics that others avoided. She said what others only thought in silence. And sometimes that made people angry. But that didn't stop her. Rosie believed that if she had a voice, she had to use it for good. She stood up for kids without homes and for parents who loved them, no matter who they were. She spoke at rallies, gave interviews, and used her platform to shine a light on things people tried to hide. She knew that just being herself made a big difference. Even with all the backlash, Rosie kept going. She kept fighting for fairness and love. She wanted the world to be better, especially for the next generation. She wasn't just a talk show host anymore. She became a bold voice. Her story shows how truth can shake things up, even if it makes people uncomfortable. Rosie didn't just come out. She came forward, louder than ever. 17. Amanda Bearse. Amanda Bearse made people laugh as Marcy on Married with Children, a TV show full of silly jokes and loud characters. While the world saw her as just another actress playing a part, Amanda was living a very different story off-screen. In 1993, she shocked many by coming out as a lesbian, something very rare for a TV star back then. At the time, not many actors were open about who they loved. Some feared it would hurt their careers or make people turn against them. But Amanda didn't let fear stop her. She told the truth about herself and stood strong. She knew people would talk, and they did. Some fans were surprised. Others weren't ready. But Amanda didn't wait for approval. She made her mark not just in front of the camera, but behind it too. She directed many episodes of Married with Children, proving she could lead in a male-dominated space. Later, she kept working in television and theater, but she also spoke up about LGBTQ+ rights. Amanda stood tall, even when others stayed silent. Her coming out didn't just help her, it helped others feel less alone. She showed that being gay didn't mean you had to hide or play small. She was proud of who she was, even when Hollywood didn't make it easy. Amanda broke rules and opened doors for those who would come after her. Her story is one of strength, honesty, and stepping up when it mattered most. 18. Sia Furler. Sia is a singer who often hides her face with big wigs, but her voice is one of the most powerful in music. Her songs like Chandelier and Cheap Thrills play all over the world. But behind the music and the hair, Sia is someone who carefully chooses what parts of her life to share. While many stars chase fame, Sia often runs from it. She doesn't love the spotlight, but what she said about herself made it shine brighter than ever. In a quiet moment during an interview, Sia mentioned she was queer. She didn't give a big speech or throw a party. She just said it like it was any other fact. But for her fans, especially those in the LGBTQ+ world, it meant everything. Sia's choice to be real, even in a quiet way, gave others courage. She became a symbol for being true to yourself, even if you don't want to shout it from the rooftops. Her way of being honest without drama made her stand out even more. Sia has also supported LGBTQ+ causes, not with loud protests, but with steady love. Her songs often feel full of emotion, joy, pain, hope, and they speak to people who feel different or left out. Even though she hides her face, she's never hidden her heart. She wants the world to focus on her music, but her quiet truths echo loudly. 19. Clea Duvall. Clea Duvall is one of those actresses who always seemed to understand what it felt like to be an outsider. She played roles in films like But I'm a Cheerleader and Girl, Interrupted, where she showed the world what it looked like to feel different. But for a long time, she kept her own story locked away. People guessed, people wondered, but Clea didn't say a word until 2016, when she finally said she was a lesbian. After that, everything started to change. She didn't just act anymore. She stepped behind the camera to tell stories that felt real and honest. Her film, The Intervention, and holiday movie Happiest Season weren't just movies. They were statements. She wanted people to see real love, real struggle, and real joy in LGBTQ+ lives. Clea knew what it was like to feel invisible, and she wanted to change that. She didn't care if it made people uncomfortable. She cared if it made people feel seen. Even when Hollywood didn't ask for her voice, she gave it. She used her own life to shape her work, showing people that gay love stories are just love stories, period. Clea didn't shout her truth. She let it shine through her work. Her courage came not from being loud, but from being honest. And in a world that often rewards silence, that kind of truth is powerful. 20. Holland Taylor. Holland Taylor has been in Hollywood for decades. People know her from shows like 2.5 Men and The Practice, where she played smart, bold women. But while her characters spoke their minds, Holland kept her real life quiet. For many years, she didn't say much about who she loved. People asked, but she didn't answer. Then, in her 70s, she spoke up. She had been in a relationship with actress Sarah Paulson. Their relationship caused a stir, not just because both women were famous, but because of their age difference. People talked. Some judged, others praised. But Holland didn't share her truth for fame or headlines. She shared it because she was tired of hiding. She said being older helped her feel brave enough to stop caring what others thought. And in doing so, she gave a voice to older LGBTQ+ people who are often forgotten in today's stories. Holland didn't want attention. She wanted to be honest. And by doing that, she reminded everyone that love doesn't have an age limit. Her story isn't just about being gay. It's about being brave when the world thinks it's too late. She proved that it's never too late to be real, to love fully, and to stop pretending. She showed that even quiet choices can shake the ground beneath long-held fears. In choosing truth, she gave others permission to do the same.